Hey, hardcore hog fans. Welcome to Prediction Thursday. I'm Rick DeWeese, joined by my favorite co-host, George Waddell. What's up, brother?
Do you have a choice in co-hosts? Dude, I gotta be your favorite. That's kind of like it's kind of like the Hogs. They gotta be our favorite team because the name of this channel is Hardcore Hog. So
Hey,
there you
you're
go.
my ride or die, brother.
Yeah, we are ride or die. Exactly right.
Hey, we are joined again by a special guest who makes a frequent appearance because he knows how to pick the hogs.
Hello.
Lang Whitman, my brother, what's going on?
Man, I'm happy to be on here for the fifth time since the start of last year. So in 5 times in 21 games, I was closest to the score. I'm happy about that. We'll see if we can get close on the score again. I'm not going to get exactly right like I did the Mississippi State game. I know that was a fluke, but
Yeah,
see how close we can get.
he landed it. He landed it with both feet. Lang Whitman, ladies
Yeah,
and
I gentlemen.
gentlemen.
He was
He's
dead on the money.
Well, not only that, he's a freaking oracle. He's on several. He's on podcasts. He's on radio. He needs to start his own network. It's the
Hey, I
Lang
can tell
Whitman
you this.
Network.
Hey,
What is
George,
your yeah
I can tell you that if Lang Whitman says dye your Easter eggs, you can bet that Easter is around the corner.
yeah
You get me?
exactly yeah. There's a certainty. There's a
Listen to
certainty.
me
You
to
got, yeah,
this.
you got to pay attention to that date on Easter because it bounces around on you, what month it
Yeah
is.
yeah exactly.
Well, here we go, fellas. I tell you what, I'm going to do it a little different today. Instead of me going first, I'm going to toss it right over to Lang and let him give his prediction. George, I'll shoot it to you after that, and I'll go last. Lang, what you got, buddy?
Okay, I've got this is a close series, as all Arkansas fans know. LSU has won 8 of the last 9 games in this series, but in the last 5 years, LSU's 4-1. 4 of those 5 games have been decided by only 3 points, one way or the other, even though LSU has won 4 of the 5. I think it's going to be another close game here. I think LSU has another team that's fired their coach. They get off to maybe a slow start after the tough game against Alabama. Arkansas usually gets off to fast starts. That's going to keep Arkansas in the game for quite a while. But I think just like all the other games, the second half's not going to go the Hogs' way. I have LSU 34, Arkansas 28.
Oh, my goodness gracious Lord. George, please pull him out of the ditch and give us a better prediction than that.
No, he just wants to be on. He just wants to be on next week's show.
That's
True,
exactly right.
true.
There's
I've never
I
made
mean,
it back to back, so that's my goal now.
yeah, back to back. Well, I'm beginning to wonder about my favorite co-host status with his so many appearances. It's like Saturday Night Live, the old Saturday Night Live host.
Like
So
Steve Martin.
yeah, I, I have picked the Hogs to win every single game this season. But this is a tough game. I mean, we're dealing with apathy on both sides. Even at Tiger Stadium, I think apathy could be a factor in that not a lot of people care about this game more than they do, grandma's birthday. So I think that may be an advantage for Arkansas if Petrino still has a team, but it's hard to tell from this distance. You guys know more than I do. That's why I have decided that this week it's going to be 31-20 LSU loses.
Walk away. I was literally about to open the door and walk off the whole show.
Yeah. 31-20 Hogs. Come on.
Well, look, here's what we've got. We've got the battle of the interim coaches here, okay? We're 2 of 4 teams that have fired their coach mid-season. It's the battle of the interim coaches. I know we're at LSU. I'm going to pull a semi-Franzetti on you, brother. I'm going 28-27, but I'm going with the Hogs.
Thank you.
Because you know Franzetti's going the other way. Well, I mean, really, what I wanted to talk about, because this is like George said, you think about this game like you do your grandmother's birthday. It's just not as important as it should be. And that being said, we need to look ahead to the future. What's this coaching situation going to look like? And who do you think we have, Lang, in the shuffle to make a good coaching decision?
Well, what I do think, let me say this. What I disagree with is the people that are on social media saying, who can we get? That's a backwards way of thinking in my part. But a lot of these people also don't want to hire a group of 5 coach that they think is beneath Arkansas or something like that. They all have Chad Morris syndrome, like that's going to happen again. That's a guy that was 14-22 at SMU that never should have been hired to begin with.
Right.
The group of 5 coaches that are in the mix now, seemingly, Alex Golesh from South Florida, who would be my choice if somebody asked me. They're not going to ask me, so take that for what it's worth. Silverfield from Memphis, he's 50-22 all time there. I mean, Golesh took over a team that was 4-29 when he got there, and he's in year 3 of the rebuild. And if they win out, he's taking South Florida to the playoffs. He's got SEC experience. I'm going to make my case here for Golesh. He's got SEC experience being the offensive coordinator for Tennessee. When Heupel first got there, they had the number 1 offense in the SEC. He's a young guy. He's only 41, 42. He's a fiery guy. I've seen him pull a couple Saban-type rants on the sideline. His team was up 35 points, but the offense did not execute. He was worried about playing to their standard, not playing to the scoreboard. And I think that's key in a coach. Another thing I like, and this isn't necessarily coaching, this is just a person. I've watched 3 of their games now this year, and every time they have a player hurt on the field, he's out there with the medical staff, no matter how serious or unserious it might be. And that's just something that you normally don't see from a head coach. That kind of caught my attention. I like that inning. As a bonus, his wife is from Greenwood. That doesn't have anything to do with the coaching aspect of anything. But I have heard that, her family has had season tickets for a long time. She's been to a Razorback fan her whole life. That may or may not play anything into it. But if he's asked, that's obviously she's going to be in on the decision, and that's something to look at. Silverfield at Memphis obviously should be a candidate. Lately, Eric Morris at North Texas State. He's getting a little bit of traction. High-powered offense, came from Incarnate, grew up with the Mike Leach system, came from Incarnate Word. He was the only coach anywhere that gave Cam Ward a scholarship at Incarnate Word in Texas. They both moved up to Washington State, where I believe he was the offensive coordinator there a year with Cam Ward. Then he went back to be head coach. So Cam Ward turned out well. First pick in the NFL draft last year. He's worked with other big quarterbacks. The line of succession back at Texas Tech, I believe, well, I said with the Leach system. He's somebody that to look at. His record's not great, but coming up to this year, but it's his 3rd or 4th year maybe now at North Texas. He's got them up at 8-1 in the American Conference. Another with a high-powered offense. I know everybody likes the high-powered offense look. And then there's the big name out there is James Franklin. What's he going to do? Is he going to Virginia Tech? Is he going to come to Arkansas?
That's what I thought.
Is he going to wait to see if Florida State comes open and maybe take a look there? If James Franklin is the guy that would come to Arkansas, I would be fine with it. One of the big talking points on social media is that he can't beat ranked teams. He can't beat top 10 teams. He can't beat Michigan or Ohio State. And man, my response is, brother, we're not worried about beating Alabama and Georgia right now. We're worried about beating Mississippi State, Auburn, Ole Miss, Missouri. Let's win those games. Then we can worry about the big boys. And James Franklin, he can win those games.
Let's win a game, please.
Of the last 47 games that he coached at Penn State, where they were favored in the game, he won 42. 3 of those losses were his last 3 games there. That Oregon game just broke the whole program down and sent him into a tailspin. And I think Penn State might regret that firing at some point. Won't know for sure till 2-3 years down the line, but that guy won a lot of ball games. No, he did not beat Michigan, Ohio State. But 9 months ago, he had them with the lead in the fourth quarter of the semifinal game against Notre Dame, and they ended up losing with the late interception and whatnot. But I don't know if he would be the guy at Arkansas. I would be for it.
No, I'm a big fan of James Franklin. I'm also a big Rhett Lashley fan. I'm a John Summerall fan.
I think he's going to Auburn.
Yeah, I think you're right. I do like your Memphis pick and your South Florida pick. I like both those guys too. But I mean, as you know, I am on the Petrino train for several reasons. Most importantly, I think he knows what he's got. And in this day and age where you're recruiting for 1 year, every year you have to go recruit for the next year. It's not like you're recruiting for a 3 or 4 year college like we did back in the day. I think he's a good pick for that because I think he can snag some good guys, and I think he needs to change his coaching staff around a little bit. But I also think for the University of Arkansas, he's the least expensive play in the group. And I, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I would think that he's the least expensive play to move this train down the road, because right now I feel like with all the coaches that are available and all the potential that's out there, there's way too many teams that need coaches. And I believe Arkansas to be way down the list of a good coach.
I disagree with you there. There's like 12 schools right now open, I believe. Yes, we are not fishing from the same pond as Penn State, as Florida, and LSU. But who's next on the list? I mean, there's Virginia Tech, there's UCLA. That's out there where Georgia is. I mean, they're getting a different type of candidate than Arkansas is. There's Oklahoma State. I mean, I think you can make a case as Auburn. Okay, well, I'll put Auburn slightly.
Yeah, we got Auburn, LSU. I mean, the SEC alone's got 4 teams looking for coaches.
I think you can make a case that Arkansas is at number 5 right now in the pecking order, and the top 3 in the pecking order, we're not going after the same guys. So I don't think the pool is that shallow as some might think. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not in the back rooms talking to the agents and all that, but I do think, to kind of go on the opposite of the Petrino thing, personally, I want to sweep everybody out. I want to start over. And I also think that if the money people really wanted Petrino, I mean, they can name him head coach anytime. I think the money would be there for somebody other than Petrino, is what I'm hearing. But they don't really want Petrino for whatever reason. I don't know about it. That's just what I'm hearing. I could be wrong. I do know another thing I dislike or disagree with the majority on social media about is always the statement you see for everybody. And then I haven't heard Rick say this, but a lot of people that want Petrino, give him money for a defensive coordinator and NIL and let him go. Well, who's the great defensive coordinator that Petrino's going to hire? Because he's never hired one.
It's available.
Yeah, right. You look at his last season at Louisville in 2018 when they went 2-10. I see scores for the other team of 51, 52, 54, 56, 66, and 77. They gave up 44 points a game that year. That was all his coaching staff. I get it that this is not his coaching staff right now, but his last evidence is going 2-10, giving up 44 points a game. He's lost 4 more games here in Arkansas as the interim now. That's 2-14 his last 16 games, wearing the headset as a head coach or interim coach. And that's why I'm out. I just want to sweep him off, close his chapter forever. Appreciative of 2008 to 2011, but I think we need to move on.
Yeah. Remember this too, one thing about Petrino, and you just go and follow. Let's just start at Arkansas, start in 08 and go, well, even Louisville to Arkansas, back to Louisville, Kentucky, and all the other places. Petrino never really has cared about having a good defense. If you go back and look at all of his scores, his determination is, my offense outscores your defense and outscores your offense. I'm the winner, and he'll have a 65 to 62 game,
Yeah.
And that was his philosophy. And I get that. And he does roll that direction. And I get that. You only need a decent defense, not a great defense, if he runs his offense the way he wants to run it.
That's true.
That being said, I think he sticks with his strengths and he goes out and gets a more great offensive players. Get a decent defense. Forget your defensive coordinator. Just get a guy that, even the guy he's got, keep whoever. Just get better talent on the field, you know?
Yeah.
So that's my Petrino theory on how he runs a football game. It's totally different than most. And most people think you need a balanced defense and a balanced offense. Well, if he goes out there and kicks the shit out of you in offense, it doesn't matter how good his defense is, right?
Now, the analogy I used with somebody on a text the other day, I said, here's my true thoughts on Petrino. Petrino in his prime, or back with Arkansas, Petrino is like a fireball pitcher in Major League Baseball. He's going to get you a complete game, 12 strikeouts, 9 innings, maybe give up 1 run. Now he's an aging pitcher. He can give you 5 or 6 good innings. And that's why in the second half, we kind of spitter and sputter around. And there's no, he's still got a fastball, but when the hitters adjust a little bit, he gets hit and he gets knocked around, or we can't score in the second half.
I don't disagree with that analogy at all. Yeah, I agree. George, what you got in there, buddy? I mean, come on.
Well, I think I listened to both of you, and it's intriguing because I think that's probably what the conversation is in Arkansas right now is who's going to be the coach. All I want to do is beat Texas. That's all. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit who the coach is. I just want to beat Texas. And if we play LSU well enough to just beat Texas, then the coaching thing will take care of itself. I think that Rick makes a really good point that there's some continuity with the Petrino hire. It could be a great thing if he was able to fix his defense. But I think Lang is right. We're not that bad of a job. And we could really make the job a Calipari kind of basketball job. And we have the king of baseball. Really, all he lacks is a national championship. And then what I've seen from Calipari basketball team is that it kind of made me a believer that he was willing to take the Eddie Sutton in reverse and went from Kentucky to Arkansas. And I remember how that felt, feeling so betrayed by Eddie Sutton that, he would go to Kentucky and leave Arkansas, who he should love with all of his heart. But he wasn't Arkansas. He was a head coach of a basketball team. And so the head coaching position, whether they're an Arkansas guy or whether they're number 5 in the available jobs or not, what I really think we need to look closely is how college football will work from here going forward. And when you're making 18-year-olds millionaires instantly overnight, what does that involve? And what is the responsibility of the institution to make sure that they not only become wealthy because of who they are and because of who they represent, the Arkansas Razorbacks, but they're a responsible citizen of the United States of America and can be an example to other young men that can achieve. And that's the whole idea behind higher education, is become somebody because of who you are. It allows you to do that. And that's why I love college football so much.
You hit the nail on the head because Calipari does that with his kids. I think he's done a great job ever since he was before Memphis. I mean, he's always either graduated those kids or sent them on their way to the pros with some sort of responsibility of being a young man. And I'm sure not all of them are perfect, but at the end of the day, that's what does make a great head coach. I think that Petrino, I'm with Lang on the fact right now, and I know he agrees that Petrino's name is out of the hat right now. He's not in the hat at all. So it's one of those deals where, win me some football games or I'm going to take your name out of the hat. I think his name's out of the hat. But beat LSU, beat Texas, and beat Missouri, and I might put your name back in the hat, brother.
I mean, if he would pull that off, sure, that would be more people clamoring. I mean, I think there's a lot right now online clamoring for Petrino to get the job. I just happen to disagree with him. I mean, that doesn't mean I'm right, they're wrong. But what as George was talking, I had a point that I was going to make, and now I've lost. Oh, I know what it was. It was like that. I don't think people realize now this year's gone off the rails. Okay. But I don't think we are that far away as some people think from being respectable again. Point being, I looked up for this LSU game. We played 17 back in 2021. Arkansas went to Georgia as the number 8 team in the country and played Georgia. Got beat, got smoked. I believe it was an 11:30 kickoff or whatever, 37-0. Number 1 Georgia, put it on us. Since that day, we've played 17 road games. We are 6-11 in those road games. And in those 11 losses, 10 of them are by 1 score. So we've been right there, despite what our record is, 7-6, 7-6, 4-8. Now this year's off the rails. We've still been right there. Even this year, our road games have been 1-score losses. If I remember right, we lost Ole Miss by 6. We lost to Memphis by 1, and seemed like we played somebody else on the road. Who am I forgetting? But anyway, we're not that far away. It's not that desperate a job. We just need somebody to pull it all together. Sam was not the guy, unfortunately, to do that because he was a career offensive line coach, not a head coach. We need somebody to come in there and pull it all together. And I think this thing, the way that teams turn stuff around now, it can be done quick. It's not a 4 or 5 year rebuild anymore. I mean, Cignetti went into Indiana and immediately turned them around. And now this year, in year 2, they're ranked number 2. I mean, I'm not saying Arkansas is going to do anything like that. The SEC's depth is harder to win at than in the Big Ten. But there's no sense in thinking that Arkansas needs to be this 3-9 or 4-8 team in perpetuity for year after year. That's not the case.
Well, like I talked about earlier in this show, this is a 1-year deal, and it's every single year you got to re-up for the next year. I know of maybe 1 or 2 teams that are keeping kids around for more than a year. And so basically, you got so many kids hitting the transfer portal every year that you've got to be the kind of coach that can retool on the fly every single year. That's why Indiana came up out of nowhere. Somebody gathered the right talent, pulled them out of the transfer portal, put them together, and made a football team.
Cignetti brought his top 13, I believe, players from James Madison over there. So they had some continuity. You had 13 good players. With Indiana, they probably had, obviously, 10, 12 decent players. Now, all of a sudden, now you got 25 good players. And that changes things in a hurry.
That's the same thing Deion Sanders did when he went to Colorado. He brought all his boys when he went to Colorado, and he had that one good year. Yeah. And then it's kind of falling apart on him, but that's because these kids are moving in and out of the system fast these days.
Yes. What coaches need to do these days, and some of them, like Kirby, I know it's easier when you recruit the top players, but you need to get out of the recruiting. You've got to recruit linemen, offensive linemen, defensive linemen. Those kind of guys aren't in the portal. Where you get out of the portal, you can get skill guys. You can get a quarterback because every backup quarterback wants to play somewhere. He's not going to sit behind some guy for a couple of years. You can get secondary guys. You need to get your big boys in a program, build your lines up through recruiting, through weight training, keep them on your team. Don't let those guys away because other teams aren't letting their linemen get away because that's the lifeblood of your team.
Now, so you know what's going on right now, and you may or may not be aware of this, but that's what football teams are doing. They're using their collective money, and they're buying these offensive linemen and defensive linemen. If you are an offensive lineman or defensive lineman, yes, you're looking for a home for 3 years, 4 years. You're not looking to hit the portal, but what you are looking for is some cash. You're looking for the money.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. Hey, they got the best job in America because they get to not only get paid a whole lot of money, but they get to stay somewhere the entire time and not worry about hitting the transfer portal.
Yeah, that's what teams like in this Mid-American Conference that's on TV tonight, those teams have taken a dive. Those teams historically have taken the marginal players that they're not quite big enough to play at Ohio State or Michigan State, Iowa, those teams in that part of the country, and they've developed them and have some really good guys. But now, as soon as you develop one at a MAC school or a Sun Belt school, they're hopping up. They're going to the SEC. They're going to the Big Ten, and
they gone.
Right.
They gone. I know. I get it. It's incredible, but I think that's what the Hogs did a great job of last year. We bought an offensive line, and we bought an offensive line that probably will stick. Now we need to get out there and buy a defensive line. I was optimistic about everything about our defense except our defensive line. And I'm telling you, mark my words, these linebackers or these defensive backs that leave us and go in the transfer portal, hide and watch them perform for another team that's got a good defensive line, because they've had to adjust.
I had a text conversation with somebody just earlier tonight, and that's what we were talking about, where we need better defensive linemen, maybe another linebacker or two. And then that makes the secondary that much stronger with who you got, because you don't have to guard somebody for 5-6 seconds. You can't stay on receivers that long. You got to have somebody get pressure on the quarterback, force him to throw the ball away, make bad throws, interceptions, whatever, and we're not doing that.
I was the most optimistic about our defensive backs this year. If you go back and watch shows in the preseason, the very beginning of the season, I was so high on our D-backs, and I still think they're great, and they're going to go perform at another school when they leave, I promise you. But, when your defensive line sucks, your cornerbacks and your safeties are having to do a whole lot more business than they need to be doing. You can be as good as you want to be, but if your line sucks, our linebackers were pretty good. And when your line sucks, your entire defense falls apart. This season, this Razorback team in this season is a testament to how a great defense can fall apart because your defensive linemen suck.
That's another reason with the Petrino thing to me. Am I positive that he would take that NIL money and devote enough of it to defense? I don't know. He loves his
I don't know.
I mean, like I said, that guy's going to be able to call plays when he's 90 years old and on his deathbed. I mean, he can always do that.
He can draw them up.
Yeah, he can draw it up. I will give him that. I just don't want him to be the head coach because I don't trust him in this NIL era, focusing anything on defense.
Well, I'll tell you this, LSU's defense is pretty darn good. They're top 20. Their offense is terrible. They're in the top less than 100. They're 104, 117, something like that. So this is that classic thing I was talking about earlier. Petrino's going to offense the shit out of you until you're blue in the face, and he's going to score. If he can, he's going to score. And then if his defense falters, it falters, but he thinks he can outscore his own defense. And so hopefully that's how the outcome. But, like we've all indicated just here now, I'm not predicting a very high score. Lang, you didn't. You only went 34. Hell, we've scored more than 40 points in 5 or 6 different ball games. So we're all under the radar on the score. George, I don't remember where you were you were 31.
Yeah.
Lang was 34. I'm 28.
20. So the
we're
54. So we're
pretty low this week.
Yeah. Well, it was an off week last week.
Yeah, it's interesting game for me because LSU, I do believe they geared up for that big Alabama game last week. They lost. They played well, lost 20-3, 20-9, something like that. I don't know where their mindset is in this game. I'm not sure I know that they were geared up to play Bama. Meanwhile, but we had a bye week. I don't know where our mindset is either. We don't have a bowl game to play for. LSU still has a bowl game, I guess, to play for. They don't have to win our game. They played somebody like, I don't know, Western Michigan or somebody they're going to beat next week to get bowl eligible. They got 5 wins right now. And then they got maybe Texas A&M, whoever they got to finish the season. Anyway, so they don't have to win this game. It's a weird time for LSU. I know they don't like playing at 11:45. They want that night game at LSU. So I think I think they're capable of getting off to a sleepy start. Arkansas get off to their fast start, and we'll just see how fast a start we can get. You got to convert. If you drive the ball down there, you can't have a turnover in the red zone. You got to get touchdowns. Field goals might not win this game. Despite LSU's struggles on offense, they're still going against our defense, so that's going to elevate them somewhat. And they're going to play two quarterbacks this week. Nussmeier's still going to play. He got benched last week in that Bama game for Michael Van Buren. Van Buren, if you remember, played for Mississippi State last year when Arkansas went down to Starkville, and he passed for 309 yards on us. So there's that. There's that.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's not
Right.
bad.
Right. And he's far more mobile than Nussmeier is. So that's not great for the defense either, as George wallows in his face in his hand.
Hey, listen, I mean, I'm going to be, you know what Arkansas's favorite thing to do is, right?
Make a backup quarterback look like the Heisman winner.
A quarterback look like the Heisman Trophy candidate. George pegged it. Hey, they love to they could play both quarterbacks and we'll make both of them look like Heisman Trophy candidates.
They're both have 200 yards passing.
We'll break the first two quarterbacks' legs, and the third teamer will come in.
Hey, they'll both pass for 300 yards.
Throw falling down in the end zone.
8 touchdowns apiece.
Oh,
yeah, to make matters worse, LSU's number one receiver last week only had 1 or 2 catches and dropped 1 or 2 that were wide open too. So I expect him to have $150 or so in yards this week.
Great.
Jeez. Hey, now another thing. Hey, remember this too. Another thing we're really good at is ruining LSU's day.
Yeah, that's true.
We have a great track record. I can say
decent.
Miracle on Markham. I can say when they were number one, when they were headed for the national championship,
I got
we
that
beat
wood.
them. Yeah, I mean, I got that wood.
I got that wood.
501, baby. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. We are very good at wrecking LSU's hopes. I agree with Lang. They've got a cupcake next week that they're going to get their 6th win anyway. I wish this did depend on them being bowl eligible, and that we just totally screw that up for them, and they're not going to beat A&M, and they had another team that they're not going to beat, but they'll beat Western Michigan, I'm sure. Hopefully,
I can't remember who that. I don't think it's A&M now that I think about it. I think Texas plays A&M that week. I can't remember who LSU's last game is, but it's a decent team.
Are you guys sick about Texas A&M being undefeated and possibly one of the top 4 teams?
Shut up. We're not talking about that. That lingo does not belong on this podcast.
Sorry. Did I say something bad? Beat Texas?
Yeah, we're not talking about A&M and their hopes.
Oh, God.
Who are we supposed to root for in that game when they play Texas?
I don't know. Yeah.
I swear.
No, I swear. I can't.
I swear.
I'm pulling for
I can't.
I
hate A&M so bad.
Pulling out of that
I can't
one.
do it.
Can't do it. I know, too. I see so many Texas cars out here in California that have the Longhorn sign on them, and I just want to drive by and go like this,
Hey, George, tell the truth. Hey, tell the truth. You want to be one of those guys that goes and takes that license plate and turns it upside down, or you want to draw an upside down.
Yeah. I need like those magnets. I need like magnets that will somehow have the Texas down sign, but they can always turn it right side out.
And you can stick it on their door.
Yeah.
You remind me of one of those, maybe those Elon Musk, whatever. They go out and they break the windows on the Teslas because they're mad at Elon Musk for some reason. You remind me of one of those. You'll see a Texas tag and you'll go break their window going, damn Texan.
Well, when you're growing up and your family has to divert the pathway to Colorado for family vacation so we don't go through Texas, because I refused. I never wanted to step foot in the state of Texas. I just hated it so badly as a kid. The Southwest Conference, some bitches cheated us every time we'd lose. They each
I know,
fuckers
George. They always cheat.
cheat.
Golly, bless your
Damn
heart.
it. I know. Hey, this week we're gonna win now. We're gonna win.
Yeah. All right, fellas, we've gotten to the 38-minute mark.
Good
So that means
stuff, guys.
George.
Good stuff.
That
Already?
means
The
George is
time
going to
flies
have to.
by.
Yeah.
George will have to shovel this thing down somehow and get a 30-minute show out of it. But
I don't know. There's
I
too
think,
much.
I
Too
think,
much good
I think you
stuff.
got some content, bro. I think you got content.
Tons. It's kind of like having friends Eddie on. You never know what's going to happen, but with Lane, you pretty much know the facts are going to rise to the top.
And you just
No,
let Lang go because
there was a lot of opinions in here tonight, too.
Yeah, well, opinions, but you know, at one point I was like, how he know all that? How do you?
Hey,
I will say
listen.
this. I will say this.
I'm gonna quit my job next week because I'm just gonna stick with all of Lang's picks and I'm gonna bet the house on
At
everything
the
Lang
house.
says, and I'm gonna win 9 and I'll lose 2, but I'll take the 2 losses against the 9 wins, and I'll just quit my job and make a living off of Lang Whitman's picks.
Off
That
rail
Here's what my picks went last week on my sheet that I sent out, 9-2. That was my
9-2?
best week of the year. But yeah, maybe I'm heating up as we get toward the end of college football.
Well, because
Yeah.
there's more analytics, right? There's more
There's more
data.
data points to look
There's
at.
more
Yeah.
data to crunch, and so it becomes more and more evened out. Like
Hey,
now
George.
people have played teams.
George Lang just wakes up in the middle of the night, looks at all the teams, and he said, okay, I like that team. I like that team. I like that team. And he's done. He doesn't have any number crunching. He doesn't have a system. He just picks them and wins.
And he's got a dartboard.
It's almost like he's from the future.
Yeah.
He's already seen the games.
I got that sports almanac that Biff had.
Yeah, that's
Biff.
right. He's Biff.
He is
Biff Whitman. It's Biff Whitman. Hey, he only loses the 2 games so he can still be legit.
Yeah,
That's it.
I don't want to be.
He did that on purpose.
Yeah,
exactly.
Covert. Yeah, he's got some
those
secret
NBA
technology.
guys. NBA guys with the going all under, like they win every bet because they were going under their points. Or you go over every now and then. Throw them off the trail.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Don't get kicked out of the casino for counting cards. For Pete's sake.
Biff Whitman. I swear to God, it's Biff Whitman. Let's go.
It's Biff Whitman. Oh, I love it. All right, gentlemen. Hey, just let
All
it
right,
up,
boys.
All right, check.
Hey, go Hogs, brother.